A calm suburban street. Bright blue sky, the green belts along the sidewalks neatly trimmed. The fence around our yard stands white, tall and clean. It wasn't the first time. The HOA had looked the other way before, when tools disappeared from our shed, when packages vanished from the porch, when shadows lingered by the gate. But this was different. A group of men in uniforms, dressed like police, climbing our fence in broad daylight. And the HOA? They were behind it, boots scraping against wood, fingers clutching the top of the fence. A patch stitched crooked on a fake uniform. Came again. But this time, Grandpa was waiting. And the gate wasn't just a gate anymore. Let's start the story. HOA sent fake cops climbing my fence to steal again. So Grandpa electrified the gate and watched. Family dinner table. Evening, warm light. Clinking of silverware. Mother frustrated. They took the mower last month. And now the packages. That's hundreds of dollars gone. I went to the HOA and all they said was, "Keep your yard tidy. Don't make trouble." Brother shaking head. They don't want to admit theft happens here. It makes the neighborhood look bad. They'd rather silence complaints than face the truth. Cut to Grandpa, silent, sipping tea. His eyes narrow slightly. Grandpa calm, low voice. They'll be back. Thieves always test the same door twice. Grandpa had lived through worse. He fought in places where uniforms meant survival or betrayal. He knew how people moved when they thought they had power. And he knew silence from the HOA wasn't ignorance. It was complicity. HOA clubhouse, daylight. A long table, board members sitting in stiff chairs. Residents gathered, voices tense. Homeowner angry. Our tools are gone. Our cameras caught people near the fence. What is the board doing about this? HOA president, stern, dismissive. We're not the police. File a report with the city if you think a crime occurred. HOA rules are about property standards, not criminal investigations. Another homeowner, voice cracking. Packages keep disappearing. We pay fees every month. And you're telling us you can't even call the police for us. HOA president, sighing, folding arms. Let me be clear. Theft is not HOA business. Now, if your lawn is uncut, that's different. But missing tools? Not our jurisdiction. Reports went nowhere. Police said without solid evidence, there was nothing to pursue. The HOA dismissed every complaint. And then, the whispers began. Outside clubhouse, residents leaving, whispering among themselves. Neighbor in hushed tone to mother. I saw uniforms by your fence last week. Noon. Broad daylight. But no squad car. Just men standing and watching. Mother startled. Police? Here? Without a car. Neighbor shaking head. Not real police. Their gear looked off. Like costumes. I swear. Something's wrong. The pieces clicked. These weren't random thieves. This was staged. And Grandpa knew it was only a matter of time. Garage night. A workbench covered in tools, wires, small electronics. Grandpa works methodically. Grandpa didn't argue. He didn't shout. He planned. He'd built radios in the war, fixed generators in blackouts, kept families warm when the power grid failed. To him, wiring a fence was child's play. Not a weapon, just a warning. Montage, cinematic cuts. Grandpa attaching motion sensors under the porch. Installing small hidden cameras angled toward the fence. A rig with wires that sent a harmless but startling jolt through the gate latch. Testing the system with a screwdriver, sparks snapping lightly. Grandpa smirking quietly. Fence bites back. He called it electrifying the gate. Not to injure. Just enough to shock. Enough to make liars stumble. Enough to catch the HOA's dogs in the act. Sunny afternoon, blue sky, green belts swaying gently in the breeze. Surveillance footage overlays. It happened on a Tuesday. The sky was clear, the street empty. A day too calm for chaos. But down the block, 4 men walked with heavy boots and cheap uniforms. They carried themselves like officers, but their movements betrayed them. Shifty eyes, rushed whispers, mismatched gear. Installing small hidden cameras angled toward the fence. A rig with wires that sent a harmless but startling jolt through the gate latch. Testing the system with a screwdriver, sparks snapping lightly. Grandpa smirking quietly. Fence bites back. He called it electrifying the gate. Not to injure, just enough to shock. Enough to make liars stumble. Enough to catch the HOA's dogs in the act. Sunny afternoon, blue sky, green belts swaying gently in the breeze. Surveillance footage overlays. It happened on a Tuesday. The sky was clear, the street empty. A day too calm for chaos. But down the block, 4 men walked with heavy boots and cheap uniforms. They carried themselves like officers, but their movements betrayed them. Shifty eyes, rushed whispers, mismatched gear. Crooked patch on uniform, belt from a costume store. Fake cop number 1 whispering. HOA said the family's gone. Grab what you can, quick. Fake cop number 2 nodding, looking at fence. Sheds behind the yard. We'll climb here. Fake cop number 3, adjusting fake badge. Don't get caught. If neighbors see us, just say it's police business. SFX, creak of fence under their weight. Hands gripping wood. Boots scraping paint. Again they climbed. Again they trespassed. But this time Grandpa was waiting. Cameras rolling. And the gate itself was ready to speak. Front porch, Grandpa in his chair, glass of lemonade beside him. He doesn't move, just watches calmly. Mother peeking through blinds inside, voice trembling. They're here, Dad. They're climbing again. Fake cop number 3 nervous, sweating. They didn't say nothing about that. The HOA said it was clear. Narrator calm. Steady. The jolt wasn't meant to hurt. It wasn't lethal. But it was enough. Enough to brother gripping her arm. Wait, just wait. Grandpa knows what he's doing. Grandpa POV. Slow zoom on the men fumbling over the fence. They thought the house was empty. They thought uniforms gave them power. But Grandpa's silence was louder than any siren. He just watched, eyes steady, as the imposters approached the gate. Electric crackle. A sharp spark jumps from the latch. Fake cop number 1 yelling. Ah! What the hell? Visual, he stumbles backward, clutching his hand, wide-eyed. Fake cop number 2 alarmed, whisper shouting. Keep quiet. Someone'll hear. Just, it's hot. Don't touch the latch. Strip their costumes of authority. Enough to turn bold uniforms into trembling masks. Cut to Grandpa, sipping lemonade, eyes never leaving the men. Grandpa muttering calm. Fence bites back. Inside house. Family huddled around monitor screens showing live camera feeds. Mother whispering terrified. Oh God, Dad, it worked. They're scared. Brother half laughing, half nervous. They don't even know what to do now. Look at them, jumping like kids who touched a socket. Mother clutching her chest. What if they get in anyway? What if they... Grandpa through window, calm voice. No need for panic. They've shown their faces. That's enough. Now we let the truth catch them. Grandpa knew better than to storm out. Confrontation was danger. But exposure was victory. And the cameras caught everything. Uniforms, faces, whispers. Back to yard. Fake cops regroup, whispering harshly. Fake cop number 2 angry, rubbing neck. We're wasting time. Forget the gate. Climb through the side. Fake cop number 3 panicked. Sides got sensors, I saw a light blink. We're already on camera. Fake cop number 1 snapping. Shut up. Grab the shed. Just move. Fake cop number 4 lowest voice, almost whisper. This isn't worth it. These aren't amateurs. Something's wrong here. Their unity cracked. Fear leaked in. What looked like authority was now for men arguing. Hands shaking, eyes darting to every window. Most men would call the police and wait. But Grandpa? He knew timing was everything. If the sirens came too soon, the imposters would vanish. If they came too late, they'd succeed. He'd set the system on a delay, an alert that called the real police only once the intruders lingered longer than 60 seconds. Grandpa checking small pager in his pocket, nodding. They've overstayed their welcome. SFX, faint sirens in distance, growing louder. Imposters freeze, looking up, wide-eyed. Fake cop number 3 panicked. Wait, that's real. That's real cops. What do we do? Fake cop number 2 cursing. Stick to the story. We're police too. Fake cop number 1 hissing. They'll know. Look at our gear. It's fake. Their plan unraveled. What was supposed to be quiet theft turned into panic under a bright sky and approaching sirens. Real officer number 1 commanding. Police, step away from the fence. Hands where we can see them. Imposters hesitate, eyes darting, then slowly raise their hands. Fake cop number 2 nervous. We're with law enforcement. This is an investigation. Real officer number 2 sharp. Investigation? Where's your vehicle? Where's your badge number? Officer pulling fake badge, flipping it in hand. Real officer number 1 stern, raising brow. This is counterfeit. You're under arrest for impersonating an officer. And just like that, the masquerade ended. Their belts were mismatched, their badges printed on cheap plastic, their excuses thinner than the paper they carried. Grandpa to real police steady voice. They've been climbing my fence. Cameras caught everything. HOA sent them. Check their phones. Officers nod, cuffing imposters. One cop checks confiscated phone, scrolling quickly. Real officer number 2 reading aloud. Meeting with HOA, access property Tuesday, family should be gone. Real officer number 1 grim tone. Well, looks like this goes deeper than a simple break-in. For weeks, the HOA dismissed complaints, denied responsibility, mocked reports. But now, their fingerprints were all over the scheme. Neighbor number 1 outraged, to mother. They sent them after you? Dressed as police. Mother shaking, emotional. They said it wasn't their business. But it was their business all along. Neighbor number 2 to crowd. This is corruption. This is criminal. The board needs to resign tonight. The street that once whispered in fear now shouted in anger. The HOA's shield was broken. Their secrecy exposed in daylight for all to see. HOA president, sweating, defensive. These accusations are false. The board never authorized criminal activity. Neighbor yelling, holding printed texts. Then explain this. Your name. Right here, arranging times with fake officers. Mother pointing across room, furious. You endangered families. You wanted silence more than safety. And now we know. The board fractured. Neighbors demanded resignations. Investigators arrived. The HOA, once smug and untouchable, was now crumbling under its own corruption. Brother to Grandpa, amazed. You didn't even raise your voice. Didn't even move until it was over. Grandpa calm, looking out at fence. Noise makes chaos. Stillness shows truth. They climbed thinking no one was watching. But fences have eyes if you give them sight. To the world, it was an arrest. To us, it was a revelation. A reminder that authority can be faked. But patience? Patience can electrify justice itself. In anger, the HOA's shield was broken. Their secrecy exposed in daylight for all to see. The arrests were only the beginning. Each phone unlocked another layer. HOA payment trails. Meeting notes disguised as maintenance checklists. Fake officer uniforms ordered online. It wasn't sloppy theft, it was organized silence. A system designed to scare residents into keeping quiet, into never questioning where their fees really went. Detective grimly. HOA board coordinated with these men. Promised them cash if they could discourage complaints. This is conspiracy, impersonation, trespassing, all rolled together. The truth wasn't just ugly, it was criminal. And now it was undeniable. Reporter. A shocking scandal rocks this HOA community as multiple board members are accused of hiring imposters to pose as police officers. Residents say it was an intimidation tactic gone wrong. Mother. They sent them to our fence. They dressed as police to scare us. But we weren't scared, we exposed them. Thanks to my father. Neighbor. No more silence. No more threats. The HOA doesn't own us. We own our homes, and we deserve safety. For years, whispers filled the green belts. But now voices rang loud across the sky. The board's hold on power cracked, and the neighborhood finally found its courage. Court cases followed. Charges mounted. Embezzlement, conspiracy, impersonation, endangerment. The same board that lectured residents about lawn heights now faced jail time. HOA president speaking to lawyer. HOA president. They won't forgive this. Even if I beat the charges, I'll never sit in that chair again. And they were right. Leadership collapsed. Elections forced new hands onto the board. Hands that feared the people they once ignored. Brother relieved. It's over, right? No more imposters. No more threats. Mother nodding slowly. The police said charges will stick. The HOA's done. Grandpa, sitting in his chair, hands folded on his cane. Grandpa, over? No, nothing's ever really over. But peace doesn't come from boards or badges. Comes from vigilance. From watching when others close their eyes. Grandpa's calm wasn't arrogance. It was earned wisdom. He knew corruption didn't vanish. It waited for chances. But he also knew the cure wasn't fear. It was light, exposing shadows until they had nowhere left to hide. Brother to Grandpa. How did you know before the rest of us? How'd you know they weren't real cops? Grandpa, slight smile. A man in a real uniform doesn't climb fences. He knocks on doors. He stands tall because he's got nothing to hide. These men, they slithered like thieves. And when you've lived long enough, you learn the difference. Mother, softly. You saved us. You saved this whole neighborhood. Grandpa, shaking head. No, the truth saved us. I just gave it a gate to climb through. The night was quiet again. Not with fear, but with safety. A safety no HOA board could ever buy, and no fake badge could ever fake. Sometimes fences are just wood and nails. Sometimes they're symbols, lines between what's right and what's wrong. The imposters thought a fence was just something to climb. The HOA thought it was something to hide behind. But Grandpa? He knew better. He turned a fence into the loudest truth on the block. Grandpa, sometimes fences keep people out. Sometimes they keep the truth in plain sight. If the story gripped you, stand with us. Share it forward. Let others see the shadows behind the walls and the light that can break through. Thank you for watching. Stay alert. Stay safe. And if you're new here, join our circle. Subscribe, share, and let the stories keep climbing higher than any fence. See you in the next story.